everybody. It's Maria Boynton. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Atlanta Up Close. Today, we're focusing on the campaign, on the election. This particular election, 2026, that for governor of the state of Georgia. One of the candidates joining me now, Derrick Jackson. How are you doing?
How you doing? Listen, it's great to be with you.
It's always great to see you, sir.
Yes. I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Well, thank you.
I was just about to say, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice
and be glad in it. And we are very glad. So why do you want to be governor of Georgia?
Listen, as I continue to crisscross Georgia and continue to talk to the families out in urban, suburban, and rural, and Maria, they want a governor that will listen to them. They want a governor that can understand their hurt and their pain right now. And they need a governor that's going to focus on family. And so that's one of the things that you will discover in terms of my priorities. Families, Georgia rights, and Georgia military.
Okay, everyone, he's Derrick Jackson, candidate for governor of Georgia. We've got quite a bit to go over here. Of course, we talk about the gentleman that is in the White House right now, none other than Donald Trump. So let's say, for instance, you get a call. You're governor of Georgia, you get a call that says, I need you to find me some votes so we can make it happen in Georgia. I want to win in Georgia. What do you do?
So the very first thing I would tell the other recipient on the other end of that phone call, that's illegal. You're breaking the law.
Okay.
See, that's the reason why I'm running for governor, because I'm the only qualified candidate to be the chief executive officer and the commander-in-chief. See, I realize that right now, in this day and time, what's happening at the federal government level, you're seeing a government that's doing things against families and not for families.
Like what?
You know, for example, removing SNAP, you got 640,000 children in Georgia going to bed hungry. 1.4 million Georgians need those SNAP benefits. Maria, that's the reason why I'm running, to make sure that all 11 million Georgians, they're going to have a governor that's going to wake up each and every day focusing on families, making sure that our rights are protected, and taking care of our military as well. See, because that's the other component about this race. We never had a qualified commander-in-chief. We came real close one time, and that's with Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter served 4 years in the Navy. I've served 22 years in the United States Navy. So I understand what sacrifice looks like. I understand what integrity and honesty, and that's what these families are looking for. A governor that's going to listen to them and respond accordingly. And so if I receive a phone call like that from the federal government, I'm thinking about Georgia family and how that will impact us.
You believe that the commander-in-chief for the state of Georgia needs military experience?
Absolutely. And here's the reason why. Because I believe the federal government right now is trying to set up for a martial law situation. You're seeing military being deployed at various cities and states. We never had military occupying homeland, intimidating citizens. So that's the reason why that third priority, military, is so important. I will exercise the 10th Amendment. That's why it's so important to have a qualified commander-in-chief. That's why it's so important to have a qualified chief executive officer, understanding what our constitutional rights are and then making sure that the families in Georgia are protected.
Everyone, we're talking to Derrick Jackson, candidate for governor of Georgia. We talk about some of the things when it comes to governor, things of that nature. Let's find out a little bit more about you. I know you served in the military. You've been a state representative for a while too, right?
I still am.
Okay.
I'm serving in my 5th term. Nearly 10 years under that gold dome. But prior to becoming a state representative, to your point, I started off my professional career, 22 years in the United States Navy. I'm a retired lieutenant commander. And then after I retired in 2005, I went into corporate America. I worked for a company called GE, General Electric. And I did much success there. Was able to, as a senior marketing executive, business development, we have procured a $1 billion portfolio. Managing that $1 billion portfolio that served 162 countries in the United States on behalf of GE. And so during those 10 years, we have to make sure that you have someone that's qualified as chief executive officer and commander-in-chief.
So we talk about being the person in charge for the state of Georgia. You got to know, of course, what makes this state work. What is it you feel right now that the state of Georgia needs in order for it to become better, to let the citizens know that the state in itself and its leadership is concerned about its needs? I mean, we talk about SNAP, of course. I guess a question would be, if you were governor now and you learned that SNAP benefits were being cut off, what would you have done?
If I was governor today, unlike the current governor that is basically missing in action, those 640,000 children will not be going to bed hungry. I would take a portion of that $14.8 billion surplus that we are using for whatever reason, and I think it's the wrong reason. We use it more for corporations, big corporations. This is where my first pillar, focusing on families, I will make sure that I use a portion, about $1.5 billion of that surplus, to make sure our children are not going to bed hungry. Make sure that the 1.4 million families are taken care of, those who are on and rely on SNAP benefits.
A woman's right to choose. Georgia has a strict abortion law. I mean, you were serving in the legislature when that passed. I mean, what are we to do about that? As governor, what could or would do, and where do you stand on the issue?
Thank you for bringing up House Bill 481. That was a very contentious debate and battle. And you're right, I was serving under the Gold Dome. And that's one of the reasons why I have a problem with Jeff Duncan. Jeff Duncan was the lieutenant governor.
He's now running as a Democrat.
He's running, absolutely. And so everyone is giving Jeff Duncan a pass, Maria, around that bill. That bill has caused so much harm. You can't bring back the 169 women that died in 2021 because of House Bill 481, a bill that reduces and limits your reproductive freedom. And there's no bill in Georgia that reduces my autonomy over my body. And so House Bill 481 is a horrible bill. That's one of the bills that Jeff Duncan yet to respond to as he continued to be another candidate to run for governor. And the very first day when I become governor, I'm going to repeal and replace House Bill 481.
All righty, everyone. We're talking to Derrick Jackson, candidate for governor of Georgia. He is here among, of course, it's a statewide race. It's happening in 2026. The primary is in May.
Yes.
You ready for the primary?
It's 8 months away. I'm ready. I'm ready for the debates. We've been crisscrossing Georgia, and one of the things that I've learned, Maria, especially in rural parts of Georgia, how a lot of families right now are asking us in the Atlanta metro area, do we hear them? Do we see them? Do we feel them? Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why we've been spending a significant amount of our time in the rural parts of Georgia, talking to small farmers, talking to those families, small businesses, speaking to women who continue to be devastated by House Bill 481. And so we're ready to, as we continue to make the case why I'm the most qualified candidate to be the Democratic nominee when it comes to being the chief executive officer and commander-in-chief, because I'm out there listening to the people and responding accordingly.
You're just one of those big talker folks from Atlanta. I mean, I know you said you're crisscrossing the state, but how optimistic are you that you can gain the support of those who might feel that Atlanta is so out of touch with what they need?
Yeah, well, I tell you one thing, for me and my campaign, what we're witnessing, I mean, the energy just around our campaign is exciting. I mean, the enthusiasm, the energy, I mean, it's no longer a campaign. It's now a movement. And one of the things I've also discovered, the reason why I know that we're moving in the right direction was November 4th was a key example that the establishment is tone deaf, right? I'm not status quo. The people continue to speak loud and clear that we need a candidate that's going to understand our role and our responsibilities. And I often think about my mother that was born right here, Maria, Waynesboro, Georgia.
Okay.
Do you know where Waynesboro, Georgia is?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place right outside of Augusta, Burke County. My mother was born and raised right there in Waynesboro, Georgia, along with my grandparents as well. But my mother left here in 1960 and then went up to New York. And then 6 years later, I was born up in New York.
Brooklyn?
No, Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
We have family in Brooklyn and Bronx. But I was born in Syracuse. And the values that my mother taught me are rich from Waynesboro, Georgia. And that's the reason why I understand. So, yes, I reside in Atlanta, but I understand rural Georgia because of what my mother taught me and where my 80% of my family still is today.
All righty, everybody. Again, we're talking to gubernatorial candidate Derrick Jackson. The election is in 2026. The primary is in May. So if you planning to vote in that primary, you need to make sure that you are registered to vote.
Yes.
And everyone, want to ask Derrick Jackson, who's here today. I mean, what do you feel, let's say the top 3 things that Georgia needs right now? I mean, what do you feel they are?
I think the very first thing we need right now, we need a governor that's going to be responsive to the people. I'm going to keep coming back to families, right? And the reason being is because we often hear gubernatorial candidates keep talking about big corporations, more jobs, and all this revenue. I'm going to be focusing on family. So we need a governor right now that's going to be focusing on the 11 million of Georgians. That's number one. Number two, the other thing that we continue to hear, Maria, as we crisscross Georgia, is affordability. Why we keep talking about affordability? I'll tell you why. When we have a minimum wage of $5.15, it's been that way the last 24 years. And since I've been under that gold dome, every year I continue to champion to increase minimum wage. So I have a bill right now, for example, House Bill 600. Go take a look at House Bill 600. In the very first year, we go from $5.15 to $15. Now, this is a phased approach, right? We're going to see what the economy looks like, and then if everything is great, we're going to go from $15 to the second year to $20. And if everything continues to be great, our economy is healthy, we're going to eventually get to a livable wage of $27. Once we get to $27, the word affordability would be past tense. We can be able to make sure that the 2.1 million families out there in Georgia will be no longer in poverty. They'll be able to go 1 or 2 times a year on vacation. They'll be able to make sure that their 40-hour a week is not going from paycheck to paycheck or job to job. They'll be able to have that 40-hour week living a decent, livable wage. That's the kind of governor I'm going to be. So we need, number 2, a minimum wage that's livable. And then number 3, our rights, Maria, they're under attack. And we see a federal government right now that's slowly but surely eroding our rights, civil rights, voting rights, affirmative action, for no reason. DEI is a problem, CRT, all these things. We have nearly 400,000 black women lost their job in the last 10 months. 250,000 black men lost their job. So we got to protect our rights. Those are the top 3 things in response to your question.
All righty. We talk about how crossing the aisle a lot of times to get things done. How certain are you that the majority party is willing to work with you? You're a Democrat. As a Democratic governor, how do you feel that you would be able to get those things done?
Yeah, no, that's a great question too, Maria. It is difficult. The last 10 years since I've been under that gold dome, it has been very difficult. But I have found ways to work with Republicans. Out of the 314 bills that I've either authored or co-sponsored, 38 of those bills are currently law. And so we need to find the room to where we can come together, reach a consensus, and get things done for the betterment of Georgia. And so what I would like for all 314 bills that my name is associated with to be law, great, but they're not. But 38 of them are. And so we have to make sure that we can reach across the aisle and work with those Republican Party members where we can find a common solution.
All righty, Derrick Jackson, look into your camera and tell everybody why you should be their choice for governor.
Listen, Georgia, urban, suburban, and rural. I'm Derrick Jackson. Go to votederrickjackson.org and learn more about my campaign. But the reason why I'm the absolute best candidate, because I'm uniquely qualified to fulfill the two major roles for governor, the commander-in-chief and the chief executive officer. My 42 years, 22 years in the military, 10 years in corporate America, and 10 years under that gold dome. It's very clear I'm the most qualified. And it's essential this time that we get the right governor for Georgia, because we clearly see what happens when you get someone unfit and unqualified. It devastates and hurt all the families in Georgia. And so I'm the best qualified, uniquely qualified candidate to be the next governor right here in Georgia.
Derrick Jackson, thank you for your time. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Absolutely.
Everyone, thank you for listening to yet another edition of Atlanta Up Close. And of course, you know, you can listen on the Odyssey app as well. I'm Maria Boynton.